Hi and welcome back to Pianoly. Today I'm excited to share with you a video about how to know what chords sound good together. This is a big question when you just want to improvise or just write a song. So this is going to show you exactly how to put chords together that sound good and make them beautiful. And if you'd like to get more videos on how to go from zero to playing your favorite songs in months, not years, be sure to hit the bell and subscribe because I post new videos every week. And if you're clicking around on YouTube and you have no idea where to begin with learning the piano, I highly recommend taking my free training. It's at the link in the description. It's going to show you the exact roadmap that I take my students on that helps them learn their favorite songs fast. The link is in the description below. All right, let's dive in. How do we know which chords sound good together and what will be very beautiful together? The first thing you really need to know is your keys. Every song is in a certain key. So for example, the song Let It Be by the Beatles is in C major and so on. You can have a key in D major, G major, C minor, F minor, and so on. This is the first step in knowing what chords are going to sound good together. So when a song is in, for example, the key of C major, that means it only uses the notes in the C major scale. So for example, Let It Be is in the key of C major and it only uses these notes. No other notes. Or you could have a song in the key of D major. It's only going to use the notes of the D major scale. So how do you know your keys or your scales? I always recommend this book for scales, as you know, if you've seen me recommend it a billion times in my YouTube videos. But another quick way is to visit this website. If you go to musica.com/scale-finder, you can see all of the keys. So here is C major. I could also look for D major. That means the notes are D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. You can only use these notes in your song. So once you've picked out the key of your song, you're going to build triads. From the major scale, build triads by stacking 3 notes on top of each other. So for example, in C major, I'm going to build the first triad. Here's the first chord in C major. Then the next note in the C major scale is D. I'm going to build a triad. E, F, G, A, B, C. So these are the only chords I can use if I'm playing a song in the key of C major. We label these triads with Roman numerals in music. So once you have built your triads, label them with Roman numerals. So for example, in the key of C major, this first triad is the C major chord. It's going to be labeled with a Roman numeral 1 because it's the first chord in the C major scale and it's a major chord. If it's a major chord, we're going to label it with an uppercase Roman numeral 1. The next chord is DFA. That is a minor chord, DFA, so we're going to label it with a lowercase 2 for Roman numerals. The next one is E minor. That's going to be a lowercase 3. The next one is F major, uppercase 4. The next one is G major, uppercase 5. And then we have A minor, which is a lowercase 6. Then we have a diminished, B diminished chord. So that is going to be a lowercase 7. And we usually have a little circle over here to mean diminished, or they might write D-I-M next to it. And then we're back to C major. So again, these are the only triads I can use if I was in the key of C major. Now, if I was in the key of, let's say, G major, this triad starting on G is going to be 1. Then we have 2, 3, 4, and so on. The key of G major has an F sharp, so that's why you saw me go like this with an F sharp right here. If you're kind of lost about chords, you don't know a lot about chords, watch this video. And before we move on to the next step, which is going to be really fun, let me know what's your favorite chord progression on the piano. Let me know in the comments. Now that we know exactly what chords are in each key, we can start putting those chords together to make a beautiful chord progression. So let's put our newfound knowledge into practice. I'm going to do this in a really fun way. So I always recommend, at least for beginners, start your chord progression on your root chord. So for example, that root chord is 1. So if I was in the key of C, then you would start with C. Now I'm going to pull out the rest of my chords from a hat. So my first chord in my progression is going to be C. Now I have 4, major 4. Now I have minor 2. And I'm gonna do one more. And then I have minor 6. All right, let's see how this sounds in the key of C major. Remember, I'm starting on 1, C. Now I'm gonna go to 4, which is gonna be F major in the key of C. Minor 2, which is D minor. And then 6, which is A minor. So that makes a very interesting chord progression. Let's hear it. All of those chords sounded really nice together. I thought it kind of sounded a little bit solemn because it ends with 2 minor chords at the end of it, so it's a little bit sad. Let's make one more, just showing you how easy this really is. Remember, I'm gonna start on 1, and then let's do another one. We're gonna go to minor 2, diminish 7, major 4. All right, let's see how that sounds. Starting on 1, minor 2, that's very interesting. All right, let's listen to that again. 1, 2. So all of those chords went together, and when you're done with your chord progression, just like you start on the root chord 1, you should always end on the root chord as well. So for this one, it could go like this: 1, 2. That way we resolve back to 1. You can see just from my 2 different examples that I pulled out of a hat that you can make chord progressions and they'll all set different moods and feelings. So experiment with this. You might could write some really cool improvisation or some really cool songs. And if you'd like to hear some inspiring chord progressions, I highly recommend watching this video. If all of this sounds really cool, but you have no idea where to begin with learning the piano, I highly recommend watching my free training. It shows you the exact roadmap that I take my students on that helps them go from 0 to playing their favorite songs in months, not years. The link is in the description below. And before we go, be sure to hit the bell and subscribe because I post new videos every week. And I will see you next time.